So not only dumb and totally ignorant of everything, but utterly self-assured. How do people get like that?
It cannot be done, Captain, no matter how hard we try.
The world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change.
12 years later.
What's happening? What's going through your mind at that moment?
We just voted for you. And I was like, how old are you? You're like 19?
Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay.
Summer in the hills, those hazy days I do remember. We were running still, had the whole world at our feet, watching seasons change. Our roads were and I was like, oh, 19 years old voting in an off-year midterm primary election?
I think that there's a lot of people more concerned about being precisely, factually, and semantically correct than about being morally right.
You serious?
Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. My God.
You can't even call a moron anymore. You have to call them Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
This is my new girl.
Oh, she's good for ratings here at Fox.
I think all over the conservative media universe, they seem to delight in what they call it AOC now.
Do you have any knowledge whatsoever about how our political system works?
First day of the new Congress, when Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez stood up and voted for Nancy Pelosi as Speaker, a bunch of those boys on the Republican side booed at the sight of her.
Multiple social media users on the right shared a years-old video of her at Boston University with...
Look, I think think the Republicans have this infatuation with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. They like to use her as sort of a boogie woman.
Like, this is the war. This is our World War II.
So, like, climate change is like Nazis or something.
You're talking about zero carbon emissions, no use of fossil fuels within 12 years.
That is the goal. It's ambitious. And
You serious?
Is that possible? You're talking about everybody having to drive an electric car.
but once you get to like the tippy tops, on your $10 millionth dollar,
She's on a call! She's on a call!
Socialist millennial Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez hitting the campaign trail with Bernie Sanders this week after shocking the political establishment and taking out Pelosi's protege. But is she all sizzle and no steak? Here's what she said when questioned on Israeli-Palestinian relations.
You use the term the occupation of Palestine. What did you mean by that?
I think what I meant is like the settlements that are increasing in some of these areas and places where Palestinians are experiencing difficulty in access to their housing and homes.
Do you think you can expand on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd also I am not the expert on geopolitics on this issue.
That's for sure. Joining me now, Fox News contributor Tommy Lair. Now, Tommy, you and I have been in situations where I'm sure we don't really know exactly what we're talking about, but we're able to fudge it and we can wing it and at least pretend to kind of have a semblance of knowledge about the subject. You never throw your hands up and you say, I'm not an expert.
She's also running for office, so that makes it a little bit more disturbing. But Jesse, I gotta tell you, I used to love it when Hillary Clinton would come on TV because I thought that it would make it so much easier for us in November and in 2020, but I'm over Hillary. This is my new girl. I love to see her on TV. I think it's hilarious.
I do too. I think I'm gonna donate to her campaign because I want her to go as far as possible in the Democratic Party. Maybe she could run on Biden's ticket. Maybe it could be Biden-Cortez. I like the sound of that.
I like the sound of it too, but you know, she's also a Democratic socialist and she's going to be campaigning with Bernie Sanders. You know, the young people are supposed to love socialism, but also young people love reality TV. So Jesse, I have an idea. Why don't we take Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, why don't we drop them into the socialist nation of their choice and see how long they last?
I love that idea. Let's hear what her opinion was on direct action in the streets. Roll it.
We have to have a rapid response. And I think every day that we go on, especially a day when something that heinous happens, we have to occupy all of it. We need to occupy every airport. We need to occupy every border. We need to occupy every ICE office.
I mean, she doesn't understand about the Israeli occupation, but she wants to occupy everything in America. I don't think this tactic is effective, do you?
I think it gets some people riled up, which of course it has because she's been somewhat successful. But I'll tell you that she also said she was going to take a lot of her policy direction from activists. And I have a question for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Which activists? Is it going to be the activists that riot, loot, and burn their local businesses? Or is it the activists that march around in the streets with reproductive organs on their head? I mean, which activists is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez going to be taking direction from her policy? Because as we know, she really doesn't have a lot of policy experience. This isn't her strong suit, so I'm wondering where she's going to get it from.
Yeah, I don't think she knows. Maybe she can get it at Bernie's house. Let's listen to her take on capitalism and the unemployment rate. This one's my favorite. Roll it.
We look at these figures and we say, oh, unemployment is low, everything is fine, right? Well, unemployment is low because everyone has 2 jobs. Unemployment is low because people are working 60, 70, 80 hours a week. I do think that right now, when we have this no-holds-barred, Wild West hyper-capitalism, what that means is profit at any cost. Capitalism has not always existed in the world, and it will not always exist in the world.
Okay, I mean, I hate to fact check her. Everyone has 2 jobs. The people with 2 jobs, and it's its lowest rate in about 11 years. But that's not even how the jobless numbers go down. That's not how the unemployment rate works. It's down because people are working. More Americans are working. I don't think she gets it.